we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. What are you doing? 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 What have you been doing? What are your habits? What do your daily habits, rituals, and routines look like? Welcome back to another episode of today's podcast where we're talking about daily habits, rituals, and routines. We're talking about what it is you do on a daily basis. And does what you do on a daily basis run parallel with what your goals are? I'm Coach Leaf, your accountability coach. I'm that little voice in your head. I'm just a reminder, I can't do it for you. Consistency, 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 consistency is what is sitting in front of me right now. Question always is, how did we get here? How did we get here? What have my habits been? What are my everyday rituals, routines? How am I taking care of my mental state? How did I get here, right? Take me back. Take me back. What year was it when I walked into the office in Glassboro? The office in Glassboro. What year was that?
Oh, that had to be, I'm going to guess 2018, 2019.
2019. That's
Yeah.
how, that's the point where you and I cross paths, right? I'm sitting with my friend, Jeremy Boyd, owner, operator, CEO, boss, the best in the game, Trifecta, located Glassboro, New Jersey, on the scene everywhere. I've watched some growth, my friend, and to give you your flowers is much needed. And I don't think me saying it out loud is enough to express how much that I see the growth. And you should be proud of yourself. I hope you're proud of yourself. You're doing a thing. What is that thing?
I'm going to appreciate that. I'm going to pass that off. That was good graces to my team. We're doing the thing of trying to provide the best in rehabilitation in the entire area. We're trying to keep growing, and people always ask keep growing offices and that sort of stuff. It's like as long as we can keep the quality of care that we have, that we're known for, that our reputation is, we'll keep doing it. So that's what I want to do is keep growing the team, keep the young clinicians coming in, give them a good home to essentially be raised, and become great clinicians. So yeah, that's all we're doing. That's my mission, is to keep finding opportunities for that, and a lot of that's staying consistent and being partner up with amazing people like yourself. It's great that we've known each other for this long. We keep doing this every year, every other year. Yeah. Minus some COVID years and stuff. So again, as you said, it's all about consistency. That's what I was telling people out in the gym before. It's just like staying consistent with this. You'll see results. So, you're the king of consistency. So I've definitely, taken off from you, and it's awesome seeing your Facebook post from go all the way back to 2013. 13, and you put them out. It's the same message over and over. I'm like, I hope people are recognizing this, that nothing's built in a day.
It's the little things, right?
Yeah.
And to make it run parallel with what it is you do, you got to do the work. Mm-hmm. You have to do the little things. Mm-hmm. You have to do the little things, and in doing the little things, you don't always see the results. Okay. There's some drills you gave me in 2018 that I probably should have been doing every single, but I can't wonder, because I understand I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My wide shoulder pain, lats, I'm still having trouble with my overhead position. Well, do your daily habits, rituals, and routines run parallel with having a better overhead position? Are you doing the little things? Are you doing the world's greatest stretch? Are you activating the way Jeremy told you to the first time he ever met you? Probably not. As if I probably wouldn't feel the way I feel if I had been doing it. You can't reap the benefits if you don't do the things that need to get done. Yep. And it ain't easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy.
Yeah, especially, again, we have busy lifestyles and running businesses and working and family stuff. It's tough doing those little extra things, but to see the results, that's what you have to do. And I always say, I can make a change in anybody in a 5-minute period, especially when we do venue competitions or CrossFit comps. I get people for 5-minute max, and we can make a change, right? But that's very transient, very temporary. I'm like, here are the things that you need to do to keep going with it. Some people are they just chalk it up. They're like, Jeremy, I'm not going to do it outside of my house or outside of this clinic, so I'm going to see you more often. I'm like, you don't have to pay me that much, but if you want to, go ahead.
Right.
So
accountability.
Yeah.
But that's why you are where you are right now, because you're willing to be that person for somebody, understanding listen, what we do here, you could do it in your garage,
Mm-hmm.
but there's something about a safe space, a comfort space, a space that you're going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So we crossed past 2018. How'd you get there? What was the mission then? How's it look now? Where are you in the process?
That's a good question. So 2018, I mean, that was our first full year, I guess.
Yeah, but you were already in business. A lot of things
Yeah,
happened before that.
oh yeah,
You hear like what I'm saying? Like
yeah. Like the origin of everything that happened. Yeah. Uh,
school, like that didn't just happen.
mm-mm.
People, it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just pop up. He didn't just us crossing paths. A lot of work was done, and we're gonna call that the start, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the start. He keeps saying it's the first office of it,
Mm.
but don't take away from what was done prior to that.
Yeah, there was a lot of work prior to that. So, and hopefully there's maybe some PTs listening. Hopefully you get some entrepreneurial spirits, starting up some practices and such. But so I started. By the time that was it, I was already practicing for 5+ years, and yeah, It was always I had the idea of opening up my own practice in high school when I got accepted into a PT program out of high school. I already had the idea. It was like one day I will own my own business.
Mm.
How it's going to be, I have no idea. Didn't know I was going to fall in love as much with sports. I always had an interest, and that kind of what led me into physical therapy. But I didn't. I had an open mind of like maybe it'll be orthopedics, maybe it'll be neuro. Who knows? But then as I was in my schooling, I was like, I am most passionate, and I'm at my best when I'm working with people who want to be at their best.
Mm.
So those opportunities are few and far between for the sports realm. So I worked in a general outpatient place, and I got some great mentorship. My entire time there, I'll shout them out. BSR Physical Therapy. Had some Tom, Ernie, Amy, some great mentors. But it was a mix. It was mostly geriatric, older people. But I always had the mindset. I was like, you're gonna create what you want to do. And how I got there is I didn't just like, okay, it's time, it's enough. I went through residency training. So I went through additional schooling when other people like I did enough school. I already had my doctorate, and I was like, I'm gonna learn as much as I can. After that, I became a sports clinical specialist as well to get more involved into sports. Did a ton of venue coverages and learning from athletic trainers and everything like that. Tons of time outside of work. I'd work 40 hours. I'd treat 40 hours, and then all of that came out after my treatment day.
Mm.
So there was days I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Don't recommend that for health purposes, but it was what had to be done. I was young. I was trying to meet my future wife, whatever it may be. But that's what it took of all that additional education, all the mentorship hours, hundreds of mentorship hours after what I was again done treating, and then I got to that point where I was no longer being mentored. I was the mentor, which was awesome. And then that's when I knew I was comfortable enough. I was like, the time is now to start my practice.
Right.
And that's when I did it. And then it didn't stop then. I could have easily stopped and just started treating people. But I know my patients demand the best out of themselves. They push themselves the most. So therefore, I have to do that in my own practice. So when did a fellowship in just sports manual therapy. So, and then just kept learning and gain more mentorship. People look up to me for information. I still have people I look up to, and still you can always learn. It's just hopefully the day I plan on retiring is the day. Hopefully I just kick it, and that's it. I make it easier for myself. If it gets ever to that point where I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like learning anymore. And hopefully that never happens. I still have a passion to learn because you can always pick up things to make things more efficient, more effective, and that happens all the time. So that's kind of what led up to the 2018 part, and I guess I was pretty new in the game of like business ownership. I don't think I might have had one employee, Cam,
Yeah.
and then
Shout out Cam.
yeah, Cam's a goat. This is my right hand man, so it was like learning how to have someone on board because at that point, or at least earlier in 2018, it changed from I was gonna high school, I'm gonna start this business. PT school, I was like, it's probably gonna be something sports related, and then I finally got to that point where I was like, I'm gonna start this, and it's gonna be a mecca of sports rehab. And then the real world hit me a couple months in. I was like, oh shit, I just want to survive. I'm like, I
Because
just want to pay the
now we're
bills.
talking business.
Yeah, I
Right.
was like, I just want to like pay the bills and stuff at this point because it didn't come out out of the gates rocking. If I started a practice where I used to work, I probably have done very well right from the rip. But I respected that company and I would never do that, so I picked an area where 2 hours further south than where I've lived before. So it's like starting from scratch. And so at that point, I was like, I just want to survive. I want to get connected with people, and maybe I'll have like just be me and Cam, and that's it. And then, as we did the good work and our reputation continued to grow, then I didn't want to lose my quality by spreading myself too thin over too many patients. So we brought on Justin, and then it was like an involvement of how do I take everything that I've learned, pass that off to the next generation, and also be open enough to have him have his own spice and his own values and his own style incorporate in that, and then create a whole environment for that, and then like essentially rinse and repeat.
Right.
Now there's a total of 5 therapists on the team now. So now it's like kind of evolved into doing that and just scaling that into different places, and then continue myself learn as much as I can. So I just took a course a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
so
Something that's always stuck with me, and early on, even when you're treating me, was like your goal isn't to have almost repeat customers. Like you want to get your athletes in the door, fixed, ca- educated, and able to take the practices back with them. Which also sounds like what you got going on with, like you said, and I've been in your office. You have some the younger generation that are there to learn,
mm,
passing that off. Like how like that's a skill.
yeah, it's
That's a
tough.
skill. How do you make something? Because what you do and what you know is very very complicated. In layman's term, it takes a special person to get someone that isn't educated in that area.
Mm.
That's a skill. How do you do that?
It's a lot of again. I'll say that's a lot. One, mentorship is someone passing that down, and a lot of trial and error to like break things down into a simple form. A great PT, Adrian Lowe, he would say, we got de-educate to re-educate sort of thing. You got to like simplify things because there's so much out there. There's so much on Google. You look up things. It's a ton of scary words. You get imaging, ton of scary words. People look up stuff. They go down that rabbit hole, and then you gotta fish them out. So it's a lot of just understanding like it's being extremely self-reflective and understanding like emotional intelligence.
Mm.
So it's like I have to constantly, with every word I say, think what is the best way that can be spun and the worst way that can be spun, and more emphasis on the worst.
Right.
So it's like what I can say and like have to reflect on at that moment. If I keep it simple enough, it should be well received and that sort of stuff. And again, that takes a lot of trial and error. I still mess up a lot of conversations where I'm like, that's not how I wanted to
Mm.
say it. But now I'll call myself out immediately. Like, that's not exactly what I meant. Let me take a step back and redo it. It doesn't happen as often as it used to, but that's kind of what you have to do is kind of like, all right, they say a fourth grade language and is how we should talk to people. Is this, and knowing who that should be. I have a
Right.
physician or I have a fitness professional. I'm not going to talk to them at fourth grade level. They know this stuff. I'm just going to make some tweaks and stuff. So the main thing, yeah, is this, being, again, extraordinarily self-reflective and then realizing the power of empowerment of individuals. And there's a lot of value into that. And that's why I go that way. It's like, I'm not going for those repeat customers. I am trying to give them as much information as I can in a simple way that they can digest and that they can remember it. Because if I go too complex, most people, we just had that whole presentation. We know from statistics there most of those individuals who are there will only take 10% from that presentation.
Right.
That's what's going to stick in their mind. So I got to make damn sure that 10% is a very important 10%. And it's got to be simple. If it's too complex, then it's 0%. And that's a problem with a lot of like, going to physicians. They go like, oh, I have XYZ pain. Here's the image, rattle off a couple fancy diagnoses, and then they're like, all right, I'll see you in a couple weeks. And then it's like, what just happened? And now that person, that leads to fear because it's a lot of fancy words and pathologies and diseases. they go home and look stuff up, and then it becomes this,
Right.
unfortunate rabbit hole. So realizing that, simplifying things, being self-reflective, and empower the person as much as you can. I
Yeah,
guess that's a recipe.
empowering the person as much as you can. So speak on the benefits of what it is that we did today. What did we do today? Ha- I'm saying, as a business owner facility in the fitness space, everyone should have it in there at some point for their member base. General education. What was it? What are the benefits of it? And how can anyone get it in their facility?
So today was a kind of optimal mobility kind of presentation that's evolved over the years, and it explained like some of the natures of pain and natures of why people have painful range of motion at a particular region, and breaking it down into the three main things of the nervous system, the muscles or the musculosystem, and then the skeletal system, let's say the joints. So breaking it down and kind of today, which was an exceptionally cool one, was like we had case studies instead of having it prefabricated of like, here we're going to go over these drills. It was like, who's got what, let's figure it out together. So I really appreciate that. That was probably my favorite presentation I've done of all time. So and that was it. It's like, here you go, here's some specific things to you, because if we do all the mobility drills, it took 2 hours to go through that. You'd be doing a 2 hour warm up just on mobility, not really much into activation. We did some activation drills, but wasn't that much. It's finding the specific recipe to you, because every human's different. Everybody's pain experience is different. So you have to find the best solution for you. So that was cool to like say, all right, well, you have this. Let's look at it. Here's what I would do. You don't have to do the 5 drills beforehand. Just focus on this one. So you're only doing 1 or 2 things before a general warm up. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think the CrossFit realm, especially with the great coaching that you guys have here, you guys do a phenomenal job with warming up and preparing the tissues for the workload. But again, we're all different. That's a lot based off of genetics and our previous experiences, previous injuries. So, hitting these little things beforehand is going to lead to a more ideal workout. So yeah, I think it's a good thing for everybody. And I don't even care. Ideally, it's like, hopefully with the information we give, it's like less people need to come into physical therapy, or go to someone else. I don't care. I'll do this presentation for places outside of my 2 hours north, for all I care. As long as it's providing good information and empowering people to continue to stay healthy. The number one thing why people don't like give up on memberships and that sort of stuff is usually pain and injuries. If we can give more tools to empower individuals that, oh, I can do this and it's not going to hurt me, and I can continue to work out and then build my capacity and load so it doesn't hurt me at all, then that person stays in the fitness realm and they stay healthy, and then we're not wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars on the back end for the other medical expenses, the worst ones. It's one thing when you strain your back or your Achilles or anything like that, whatever, you'll be better in a couple weeks to months. It's the heart attacks, the strokes, the all those sort of things that's really detrimental. That'll take you out of the game for potentially life. So anything we can do to help people stay in fitness is always my mission. So
Yeah. We're talking about goals. We're talking about setting goals. He set a goal. He said it to himself. He talked nice to himself in high school. He said, I will be a business owner. And then he did things that ran parallel. Well, let me educate myself. Let me get better at a specific thing. Then now I have something to open a business up in. And then he did the work. He showed up every single day. He set a goal after another goal, because the 2018 that was the goal, and we were on top of a mountain then. That was the goal. But goals are just checkpoints. Goals are just checkpoints. It's another chance for me to ask what I need to start doing, what I need to stop doing, what I need to keep doing to get closer to my next goal. Because now I'm checking in on the goal. Okay, the goal was to get a space. We got the space. It's not over. Let's check in. This is the checkpoint. Start, stop, keep. Compared to where we are today, 2013, when I say top-notch, state-of-the-art facility, in the South Jersey, New Jersey tri-state region because you set a goal. Talk to yourself 5 years from now. Talk to Trifecta 5 years from now. What does that look like?
5 years from now, that's a good one. So yeah, the goal is, I would like to, maybe hit the trifecta of getting a third office. We have two offices now, one in Cherry Hill, one in Glassboro, and then I'm already looking to potentially expand it to a third office, and then I guess become a household name. Like we're going up against the big dogs of all like the hospital-based systems and the big corporate PT places. I want people to know like Trifecta by like name and that sort of stuff. And then just keep an awesome culture going. We're almost 6 years in business, and everybody we've ever hired is still on the team. So I want to keep that going, and then ultimately, we put a lot into the PTs that work here, and I love all, which is amazing. All of them, we have 4 PTs. All of them teach at higher education. They're all doing things. So I'd love it to just be like this hub of just alpha PTs where they start and they become these like leaders of the profession. I already can see it. We already have a couple going where it's, they're invited to conferences. They're teaching at universities. They have research studies. So that's what I would love to see and look at all my team members, and like they're all making a huge impact on the community and the profession. So I'm a huge profession person. I want to push the profession forward, give us more responsibilities, because I do think we're probably one of the best suited, if done right, if you get the training, if you put the work in, if you put the time in, you get the mentorship in, we could easily be the top practitioners treating in that neuromusculoskeletal realm.
We are. Talk nice. Talk nice to me. We are. We will be. We are doing everything that aligns with that.
Yeah.
It's happening. We're right here. We're right where we're supposed to be. You heard the story. This is motivation. This is motivation. This is what that's my goal, is the motivation. But that's all I can do. That's all I can only tell my story so many times, so many ways, and so many different octaves. I can only talk to so many people and have them tell their story. Now we're here. How can we find you? If someone does want to, with your socials, website, address, Trifecta.
Trifecta. So I think most of our handles are at Trifecta Therapeutics. That's where it gets tough. THERAPEUTICS. Don't forget the S. Everyone always forgets the S at the end. So Trifecta Therapeutics, www.trifectatherapeutics.com. My cell, I'll put it out there. I don't care. It's 917-885-1760. Text me. I'm always about, giving as much advice. I may not have every answer, but I'll at least guide you into the right answer. Most of the time, if you pose a question, I'm going to look it up myself if I don't have it. And then, that's the best way to reach me. My email is, we'll do the easy one. Just put thedecentdoctor@gmail.com. The Decent Doctor is my personal Instagram handle, so the company one's too long of
I don't think I had that one.
What, the company one?
The personal.
Oh, the Decent Doctor,
yeah.
Because I always said that was the thing. I was like, what? They're like, why decent? I'm like, well, I don't want to say I'm a great doctor or anything. I'm striving for greatness.
Decent is
I'm trying to stay
progress.
Yeah, I'm always working on myself to like, all right, I'm decent now. I'm like, at periods, people are like, you're the greatest PT I've ever met. I'm like, oh, whatever, it's great. Like, that's, I look back at that PT a couple years ago. I was like, I won't even hire you.
Right.
They're like, continue to push yourself. So that's where the name came up, and that's a nice ring to it, I guess.
I like it. I like what you were doing. I like what you're doing, and I like where you're going. I appreciate that. I'm telling you, now's the time. Here's your reminder. It's been 24 minutes. It's been 24 minutes. Now it's your turn. Get up. Go do what you said you were going to do.
That was dope.
We've tried this so many times. I can remember that I brought whatever I had in 18. And we tried. We tried.
We did it in the clinic, right?
We did it at your spot.
Yep.
We tried something here, There's every time this is our third or fourth time trying,
Yeah.
and I think something happened every time where it was just like that's just something fucked up.
Yeah.
I think we had video, no sound.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
happened with it was that was good.
That was good. That was dope.
Appreciate
man.
that.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this. I've never been in where I was like, oh shit,
It's
I'm like
like-
myself.